And we're live, so everybody welcome who is joining us, who's watching on YouTube after this. Thank you for stopping by. I'm here today with Melissa Barker-Simpson. She is an author from England, and she has published many books, and I'm just getting to know her, and I'm really glad if you are stopping in to see this too. She writes a little bit of everything, so she's kind of got a conglomerate of genres that she can pick from. Melissa, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Thank you. It's good to be.
Yeah. Now you were telling me you kind of write some crime, some thrillers, some fantasy, some paranormal type stuff. Is there a book of yours that's your favorite that you've written so far?
I don't think I have a favourite, but the series that I'm currently writing at the moment, which is The Fractured, that's it's got me in its grip. I think I can't stop thinking about that. The main character, she's a witch and she's really fun, and yeah, I think that's got its hooks in me at the moment. It's all I can sort of think about. So.
And is that one of the books that you're going to have that's coming out, or is that a different series?
No, that's the same series. It's on the 30th of this month, actually, The Fallen comes out, and that's the first of the series. I released The Contract, which is a prequel, and part of a double book anthology. So that was at the beginning of this month. So quite close together, really. Yeah.
Perfect. Now, you said that the story has its hooks in you. Would you say that you relate to that main character most? I know that a lot of writers I've come across, they put a little bit of themselves into each character, but sometimes there's that one character you put just a little bit extra. Is that why that one is a little bit more, or is it because you can be somebody who's not you and just take off from there?
I think it's probably the latter. I think she's not like me at all, but she's a lot of fun. She has magic hair, and she's really fun. She's sassy and sarcastic, and I really enjoy it. It's really, really good to work with her. So yeah, I think that's why I can't stop. She follows me around quite a lot. So.
I think I relate to that in the fact when I write, I really love when you can be the villain, just because you can always kind of dump all that bad stuff into a character, or that really creative that you just don't feel comfortable being in your own skin, into something else, and you can just, like you said, get your grip into it and let loose. Do you have an antagonist or a villain or anything like that in your books that you like to, I don't know, dump all that evil into at any given point?
I do like the antagonist, I have to say, but my favourite character besides the witch is probably a god, and he sort of on the fence. He's not sure which side he belongs to, really. So he's quite flamboyant, and he likes to flaunt his power, and so he's a lot of fun too. I do like letting him come out to play type thing. So yeah.
You mentioned it's a god, so is it more of a Greek god, or is it more of a new god, I guess you could put it?
I would say it's a new god, but certainly it's probably influenced by the Greek gods, because I do love all that kind of mythology, and I've done a lot of research on the different mythologies, and yeah, so it's a little bit of a mixture, but new as well. So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Now,
Yeah.
beforehand we were kind of talking about genres and characters and stuff like that, and you said that you kind of tend to steer towards fantasy, and with that, is there a favorite book or a favorite character that's not your own that you love seeing or love reading or rereading even?
I've read The Hobbit quite a lot. That was the first book I ever read, I think, and I've loved that all my life, so I read that quite a lot. And obviously Lord of the Rings, that kind of thing, those kind of, but I like comic books, so I love all the superheroes and that kind of character too. So yeah.
Now, The Hobbit, I remember The Hobbit just because my sister, actually, that was the first book, and I think maybe the only book my sister ever gave me was The Hobbit. But I was 11 years old at the time. Trying to read that book was painful. At 11, I couldn't even figure out what they were trying to say because my vocabulary wasn't that high. What age were you when you started falling into suit with that book?
I think I was 13, 14, but strange that you say about your sister, because my aunt, she loved that before me, so she actually introduced it, and we used to read certain bits together. I don't know about you, but I quite like it when people read aloud, so she used to read sections, and we used to talk about, you know, the different parts and what we enjoyed and who we enjoyed and that kind of thing, so that was quite fun.
With thinking about reading aloud, one of the things I tend to do is when I write, sometimes I'll go back to make sure that the dialogue is all right. You know, it doesn't sound really ridiculous. As I say like the phrases and stuff out loud. Do you have any type of I don't know, quirk or anything like that when you're writing that you stick to, or you have a pattern of any type?
I think when the scene's not going particularly well, or there's something that I'm not happy with, then I usually just write pure dialogue. So I'll throw some dialogue at the characters basically and let them hash it out, let them talk about whatever they want to talk about, and have a bit of fun, a little bit of banter, and then things seem to pick up from there. So I do that quite a lot.
Do you find dialogue easier, or do you find, like, for me, I could probably write dialogue and be good, but I do enjoy going back and adding that I don't know, richness of describing the scenery and things like that. When you do your writing process, is there, like, do you prefer just doing dialogue first? Do you like to do a template and outline? How does it work best for you?
I'm a pantser, I have to say, so I just throw everything out there. I just fly by the seat of my pants. So I just write first, and then, like you said, I go back and I add in all that description, unless it's a short story, and obviously that gets put in there to begin with. But yeah, I just throw everything down first and go back and start repairing. But dialogue is something I particularly enjoy, so yeah.
Great. Now, one thing that you had mentioned and we had actually started talking about earlier is comic books. If anybody's watching and can see in the background, I tend to love them, and I'm more of a DC fan. I'll just put it out there. DC is my wheelhouse. I love Superman. I love Green Lantern. Um, I haven't really gotten into Batman comics or things like that, but it's a character that I think everybody loves to watch. No matter how many times they remake it, people will go see it. Is there a comic that you like to steer towards, or even a brand? Like, are you Marvel? Are you DC? Or are you half and half?
When I was a teenager, it was DC, like you, but in recent years, it's probably Marvel. But I like them equally. I do like Superman. I have a soft spot for Superman too. But yeah, I read mostly Marvel at the moment, and obviously there's the franchise. So I love all the movies and the
Yeah,
TV shows.
really taking the hold of
Yeah,
everywhere.
absolutely.
But I have been seeing that DC is really starting to beef up and getting ready to fight back. I mean, I think they're doing something really brilliant with TV, because they have Arrow and they have the Flash. Um, they tried to, I think they tried to get Constantine out there. They're just, it's way too complex, I think, for them.
I
But
think I haven't seen Constantine, but I love the Arrow and Flash. I review Arrow, so on the blog, Sorcerer blog. Yeah, I'm a contributor. So yeah,
I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, the moment it started, I'm like, okay, this is going to be good. And because they put it as a more realistic instead of, you know, tights and superpowers. So the way that they build in, and you can get little sneak peeks of, you know, villains and other superheroes, I really do enjoy. Now, being an Arrow fan, have you heard the rumors about Diggle possibly being uh, the Green Lantern?
yes, I have. Rumors only. I don't know any other information, but he'd make a really cool.
And as far as Arrow goes, they bring in all these other characters and side characters and things like that. But in the comics, the Green Arrow, I mean Oliver Queen, Green Arrow, and the Green Lantern were like best buddies, and they teamed up for this whole long series through the 70s, and you don't hear or see anything of them. So I'm just waiting, like, when is it going to happen?
Please happen.
I'm just crossing my fingers and like, any day now. And then when I heard that, and I heard that possibility of him being like a Jon Stewart character, because I think the rumor was that Diggle might just be a nickname, not really his last name. So being John, Diggle, I'm like, well, that could work.
Yeah, it could work. Yeah.
He's badass, and yeah, you could do that. So I'm really hoping in the years to come that something will come of that.
Fingers crossed.
What's that?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, but I've started seeing some of the trailers come forth with Superman versus Batman. I have to say, like, I cannot wait for next summer just for that alone, just because it's going to be a real testament as to how they can kickstart their, I don't know, Marvel's got the whole Avengers thing that they built up to, and I know with Superman versus Batman, they're starting to build up to the Justice League, because I know that's something that they're going to have in that pile of DC movies that's going to come out. So I'm looking forward to it personally.
Yeah, it should be fun. I like the Justice League. They can go plenty of different places, can't they, with that? So, yeah.
They really can, and I know that with Aquaman coming out, at first I'm like, oh god, Aquaman? Why are we going to do Aquaman? But I think if you know how to write it and you know how to do it right, you're going to make DC really strong.
Absolutely.
Like, unfortunately, my favorite character, Green Lantern, had a movie, and that movie, it just flopped, and I saw why, and I know why, but there's that little piece of me that's just like, oh, I wish they'd redo it. But likewise, you were talking about you had just seen Ant-Man.
Yes.
Now, when I first heard they were making that movie, I just went, okay, this is going to be a rousing failure. Just from the name alone, I had no idea who the character was. I mean, I've only heard it by name, but it just sounded ridiculous. But you said that it's actually quite brilliant. I've heard other people attest to that as well. Can you say something without? Don't spoil it. I haven't seen it yet.
No spoilers. I just think it's something that people will be able to relate to, because the character is funny and it's quite engaging and down to earth, so brings him down there even though he's a superhero. So it's a lot of fun, and it sort of laughs at itself almost in a way. So it's really, really enjoyable.
And with that, I mean, I think I went on this little YouTube binge for a while because out here, the San Diego Comic-Con is kind of like the Super Bowl of geeky superhero stuff. So every time that comes out, there's always all these trailers that will follow it, and leaked trailers and whatnot. I saw one for Deadpool, and I'm not sure. You haven't seen that trailer though, have you?
I haven't. No, I haven't seen it.
I'm sure if you YouTube it, it's going to be out there somewhere. But it's just this handheld cell phone guy who's in the crowd and records it. But it's going to be the first R-rated superhero movie, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, it and just by the trailer, I'm sure it was like a red tape trailer, but it's going to be a raunchy movie, that's for sure.
Wow.
But it's also going to be really, really funny, I think, too.
Yeah, I think Ryan Reynolds is quite funny, so I'm sure he'll do that justice.
Yeah, the as we're talking about, he actually played Deadpool in another movie when I think it was an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
But from the look of the trailer, they're trying to revamp that character, kind of like how they redid Hulk. I think they did Hulk like 3 times, something like that.
Yeah, Yeah.
So I think it's really neat that they're going to revamp the character, but still keep the same person playing the same character.
Yeah, that's a good idea. But I liked was it Ed Norton that played one of the Hulks? He was good, but I
He was
like
a good one, yeah.
Mark in the Avengers. He's an excellent Hulk.
Yeah, he really does kind of sum it all up as far as I can consider. Kind of a reserved, looks brilliant, and then you let that Hulk loose and it doesn't matter anymore. He's just a completely different person. So yeah, I think he was
Yeah.
a great choice for Avengers. But
Mm.
and a lot of people really didn't like the first Incredible Hulk. I didn't mind it, honestly. I thought it was kind of neat. Granted, the story wasn't like super grip me, but can't beat some good CGI, right?
No, that's true. Was good season. Yeah.
And I don't know if you follow. There's usually like this whole timetable people will put out there as to movies that are coming out. Do you ever follow those?
Not usually, but I've seen some of the Marvel phases and their universe, but no, I haven't really got a timetable.
Now, Ant-Man is going to be, I think, what people call the end of Phase 2 for Marvel, because their
Yeah.
next movie isn't actually coming out till May, I think. I think that's a
Yeah.
Thor movie. I'm not
Okay.
really sure, but so yeah, they're on a hiatus basically for the rest of the year. So it'll be interesting to see what they fill in the gaps with as far as I don't know what you want to call it, publicity, marketing, things like that.
And there's Fantastic Four coming out, I think.
I think you're right. Yeah, I don't know when
I'm
that is
sure
coming out. I've seen the trailers for it in
it's August, yeah.
August. Yeah. Oh, never mind. I think there must be like some sort of split in there. 'Cause I know that a
Yeah,
lot of Marvel is in different sections. Like Spider-Man isn't with X-Men, and X-Men isn't with Avengers and things like that. So not everybody's in the whole Marvel universe. But
yeah,
the that's one thing I like about DC is that I think that they're going to keep everything under one umbrella so they can actually sort it all in if they want to. The only thing that I've heard as far as reading things online go is that a lot of the TV shows won't segue into either Superman or Batman, and I can see why, because it's just too big of a franchise to try and pull in. But
yeah. It will be huge. It sort of take over, wouldn't it, as well?
yeah. Well, now that I've rattled on for for so long about superheroes, one of the things that we were talking about just recently is the marketing aspect. I mean, even with comic books, they have to have a certain marketing structure. For you over in England, what do you find is the best type of marketing as far as your books go? Do you just rely solely on online? Do you do some events, avenues, things like that?
Um, I don't do enough events actually, but I do meet people, talk to people. So word of mouth is quite good, but most of it is online. But I spend a lot of time online. I spend a lot of time blogging. I have quite a few blogs, and I contribute to quite a few as well. So yeah, most of it is online, but I need to concentrate more on the getting out there to different groups. There's big events that take place that would be ideal, really, especially for fantasy now, because before it was the crime thriller that I was writing, and I didn't really find a place that would fit really well. But I think the fantasy, there are definitely events that I could take advantage of, and so yeah, access those, I think.
Now, you started publishing books back in 2008, right?
Yes, that's right, 2008.
And you're independent, so I'm really curious when people who have published that far back that are independent that are still around, what it was like. I suppose I didn't really sound that great, but it was, from what I've understood, very difficult to get books out there back in that time frame. Can you attest to that?
Yes, definitely. It was mostly when I first started publishing, it was word of mouth, so telling friends, and obviously I belong to quite a big interpreting community because I'm a sign language interpreter. So it was telling everybody, then people that you meet, and that the online, as you said, wasn't as it is now. So, but I started blogging probably about 3 years ago, so I was quite late, but it was recommended to me as a good way to sort of reach a wider audience, if you like. But it was really hard when I first started publishing. Nobody knew that the books existed, so apart from a close circle of people that I knew.
Yeah, it's not really not a whole lot different right now. It's still really hard to get it out there and be, I don't know, have a foot in the door type of thing. When it was back then, was there? I mean, I can't even remember. Was there an Amazon even in place, or were you just doing traditionally paper-bound books?
Yeah, I've always done Amazon. So yeah, Amazon was around when I first put. That's how I published in 2008. Yeah, but I don't think there was the same sort of avenue that there is now. So it was a lot was relied on people to actually go out there and tell people. But I think people did actually have an online presence in 2008, I think.
I like how we're just gauging these things like it's so long ago. Like, oh my God, back in 2008, 6 whole years. But I mean, so much changes in just 3 or 4 years. It seems like.
It does. Yeah.
One of the people that I was talking to the other day, Nina, she was remarking how a lot of people that are traditionally published are starting to revert back and go to indie, and that's just so they can keep the rights and keep the creative flow of everything that they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have to think that it'd be super hard just back in 2008, just because there wasn't so many different, I don't know what you want to call it, different avenues that people can go down. Like now, when you think of upcoming authors, I always suggest to them all the social media sites that they can. I mean, you got your Twitter, you got Facebook, you got Instagram. I mean, people are doing Pinterest now, just so they can show people their mapping and concept ideas. So yeah, there's like a whole slew, and you're on Goodreads too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I will attest that that is probably one of the best marketing tools for readers out there. It's a little bit, in my opinion, skewed into too much power for the readers, which can or cannot be a bad thing. Just kind of depends, I think. But there's so many books and book options and giveaway options and ways to get your own book out there. Do you ever use any of those?
If I'm honest, I haven't used Goodreads a great deal. I have a profile on there, and I go on every so often because I have friends on there, but I don't use, there's so many groups, it can be quite overwhelming to actually sift through, and yeah, it's quite difficult. I don't use Goodreads as often as I should, but neither do I use Facebook or Twitter as often as I should. I'm not great at that kind of thing. I concentrate most on blogging, so something I have to improve upon.
Yeah, we're gonna have to strengthen up your social media skills now.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you want to take the advice, perfect. If not, if anybody else is watching, I would offer it to you too. Goodreads is a very good structured site if you know how to sift through it. Obviously, like you said, there's tons of groups out there. People can go on and create their own group, but you can also see how many followers in a group. If you concentrate on the high level ones and the ones that have review sections in there, because some of them do get like really overpopulated and it's just too confusing to navigate. And I've even been in those groups where I've backed out and like, nope, can't do that anymore. But for indies out there, it's a proper way to at least get your book in front of people. And if nothing else, you might get them to review it. And I've done that through a couple different groups. And yeah, I mean, you're giving your book away for free, but honestly, as an indie, you're going to have to give away a lot of it for free for right now. So for that, you can get that out there in front of, 10, 20 people. And even out of those 20, if you get 16 reviews, that's 16 reviews you didn't have before. And every single review seems to get you a little bit further as to, what should I call it, credibility. And it's really no a credibility towards your talent. It's more like, how popular can you be? It's kind of like reverting back to the high school days of what will make me popular.
Goodreads, let's go there. And
I've been on both sides of it, where I've read indie books and just gone, oh, you really needed to pay for some more editing, or just different things like that. But then there's also traditionally published books where I've bought them and read them and went, oh, I want all of my $10 back. But yeah, if you want to take that advice, I mean, the more you can get it out there in front of people, the better off it is. There's a lot of indie people out there, and small traditionally published people that I've come across that offer services, which is just to get your book in front of people. And I've actually used one of those services before, and I loved it. I mean, you did a great job as far as rustling in all the people that would be in the genre that would actually like it, and even some that don't usually read that genre that took a chance, read it, and actually did like it. And it's those that I usually focus in on and go, ha! Because you get people that just do, I just want to read paranormal romance. I'm like, okay, well, my book's about time travel, so that.
No, that's really good advice. Thank you. I'll make a conscious effort to go in there and look at those groups.
They do help most part. I'm not gonna put like 100% stamp of approval that this will work, or like this should work. It should, but oh well. Other than that, I'm trying to think. You have a book that's coming out at the end of this month. You said the first, so there is a prequel to it.
There is a prequel, yeah. It forms part of a double book anthology. So I wrote with a friend, Gina Briganti. So
Nice. So that's coming out the end of this month. You have how many books out there? I was trying to count them real quick, and
9.
It was too early. So you say 9?
9, yeah.
So they're all in different little structures and different little avenues that you can find interest in. So I encourage anybody who's watching this to go give it a check. You can look on Goodreads, Melissa Barker-Simpson. You can go to her website, right down wherever. When she pops up, it's gonna be right here.
Thank you.
Right there. And I will have your link to your website at the bottom in the comments as soon as this is done. It's going to be out on YouTube. You can come back and watch it as many times as you want. But make sure to give a thumbs up and give me a subscribe, and go check out Melissa. Melissa, did you have any other questions or things you wanted to get out to your fans that are watching?
Can't think of anything. Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
It was a pleasure of mine. One thing that before you go, I always find it fun to talk with people who have accents, especially when they're traditionally from somewhere else. I had Lizzie Baldwin on here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we're trying to have a language off sort of thing. I think I did pretty good. I got pretty much 5 out of 5. She went 4 for 5, so I would say that I won. Is there a specific English saying that I could try and adopt and make more based here in America? Like a favorite one that you have that's primarily English?
Oh.
I know, putting you on the spot really sucks, right?
An English saying. That's quite hard because I'm from Yorkshire, so that's it's quite broad in Yorkshire. You probably won't even understand some of the expressions that we use.
That's perfect. See, then I can incorporate it and be like, yeah, it's from Yorkshire. How do you like that?
Trying to think. Just do you mean like an everyday expression, or?
Yeah, just like something you say every day, but you know, it's primarily yours. I was watching a movie last night, Kingsman's Royal Service or Secret Service. I can't remember the full title of it, but it's set in England. One of the things that, and I've heard it in other English movies before, but when somebody says, "Are you taking a piss?" Is that like, are you serious? Is that what that means?
Yeah, are you joking? Yeah. Like,
Maybe I'll adopt that one. Oh my
yeah,
God,
that's a good one.
back there.
Oh, dogs.
Maybe I'll start incorporating that. Give that a go.
Yeah, that would be fun. How would that work though? In America, you're taking the piss. It's not. People like you
Yeah, I probably won't use it in church a whole lot.
No, definitely not.
I'll see how I can make it fun and worthwhile at least.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining me on your Saturday afternoon. There's dogs running around in the back. Thanks for joining me, and hopefully, if anybody has any questions for you, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I'll get them back to Mel, and she will get an answer to me. I am positive of it. Other than that, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Bye.